Okay, are you ready there on a three? Clap. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Whole school exercise first thing in the morning is part of the daily routine at Charlbury School, a primary in Oxfordshire. And for children in reception and Year 1, this isn't their only experience of outdoor learning.
But we're all going out to the forest again today, and the group who are going are Abby, Emily, Daniel, Megan, Felix, Chloe.
Inspired by early years education in Scandinavia, an organisation called Forest School was set up in Britain 15 years ago to promote outdoor learning for young children.
I think the thing I'm most impressed with this group is the confidence that they've gained already. When they arrive at the woods, they're all ready to go. They don't need anyone to lead them in there. They just go.
All over Britain, growing numbers of teachers like Jill are training up as forest school leaders. In that role, they take their pupils to a local woodland or other outdoor spot on a regular basis, generally once a week throughout the year. These Year 1s have been coming to these woods every fortnight since they started school.
So what does the blue line mean?
Stay
inside.
Don't go out of it unless a grown-up tells you to.
Right, so we stay inside.
The blue line.
Well done, that's right.
Forest School doesn't have a building. Forest School is more of an ethos and a way of working in an outdoor situation which allows children to work independently, to gain all their self-confidence.
This one's spotty and greenish and yellowish. Oh, I found a stalk of a leaf. Don't put it in.
Forest School's not outdoor education, it's not environmental education, and it's not play. It's the unique combination of all three which makes it so very special.
We learn about the forest and stuff. And once Robert he saw a poisonous snake. Yeah, in here. Yeah. It was out of this line. Yeah, out of the blue line. Yeah, it was the other side. We can do anything we like inside the blue line.
The New Economics Foundation and the Forestry Commission put out a piece of research 2 years ago. They found that children who were very unconfident to start with, 6 months into Forest School, were changed people. There were some children 3 weeks after going into Forest School were totally different. Parents would say, I can't get into school, but Mondays he's up waiting because it's Forest School Day.
There he is. That's not a spider, it's just a crooked spider.
To me, I like the way we're able to give the kids the freedom to respond to the environment and the situations in their own way, the way that suits their learning style best, their individual personalities. They can set their own challenges, make their own decisions, take their own risks.
When I was young and living on a farm, you just went outside and messed about and explored and built dens. But Forest School is kind of giving children that safe space to explore and just have adventures. And it's great for the boys who at school are in trouble for making a mess. And in the forest, we're actually saying, come on, make a mess, it's really important and it's valuable and you learn lots of stuff.
I got stuck and both of my wellies came off. Yeah.
There's so much science going on with all that mucky stuff, you know, lots of exploring materials and how you use the environment and how people have used the environment through history.
I'm making this mud soup because on the way in we found this hole and we think there's an animal there, and I'm going to leave it out there and see if the animal eats it.
Well, there are so many things that you can link from the curriculum to the woodland and use. You can bring ideas from the classroom out and get children practically actually exploring and finding out for themselves. For example, pushes and pulls and things for science. We often do pulleys and make swings and things out here, and the mudslide is a great example of pushing, pulling. So yeah, it links in really well with most of the things that we do.
This is great! In my bottom somebody. Yes.
There were some children that made a seesaw by themselves of one log that was on the ground, and they put it between a V in a tree which was standing up. Children, when they're very young, it seems to me, learn best by internalising experiences and making their own evaluation and interpretation of what they've seen. So they were involved in a lot of forces in motion, curriculum type stuff, which it would have been very difficult to explain to them. But hopefully, having experienced it in a very practical sense in the woods, it's learning which will then be ingrained later when they come to learn about it in school further on. It's a much, much better, more tangible way of learning about it.
Don't lean it. Don't lean it, otherwise it'll fall. I don't want it to fall. Not so big, not so heavy, and not so... I want it big, but not heavy sticks.
It does help with their language development a lot. There are some children that find it difficult to speak in front of a class or when they're doing work in the classroom, but when they're out here, they seem to forget themselves and just get involved in what's going on and join in the conversations, which is just lovely to see.
One of the fairies want a drink. One of them want to have a drink. Yeah. No, they don't. And the fairies don't drink till it's lunchtime, you know. Well, it is fairies' lunchtime. And this.
Well, we've been doing lots of story writing in the classroom, and to see the children out here playing with the fairies and making up stories together and thinking about what could happen to the fairies and where they're going, what they're doing, it helps them to get the language together and to actually say the language before they actually try writing it, which will make it much easier for them when they go back into the classroom to write a story.
Is it a cut after?
I think you need a cut somewhere there, don't you? Well,
I've taken children who've got speech problems. In the woods, they're not worried, they're not self-conscious. And I think children who are quiet, you know, sometimes it's the quieter girls. Even the quiet girls love it when they come to the forest. They just discover something in them that can shout and yell.
I sometimes like going down the muddy slide. Sometimes it's really squidgy and you hear it when you go down. I like getting really muddy.
We've had children with really sad things happening in their lives, you know, divorce and bereavement and those kind of things. And the wood just gives them a safe space to talk about those feelings and kind of come to terms with it.
I think one of the very positive things that comes out of the Forest School is that it gives children who perhaps are quite disruptive in the classroom the opportunity to succeed at something in front of their peers and to gain a lot more self-esteem from that.
Look how high Emin's got. Emin's got higher now. He's going to be stuck forever. Yeah, nearly. He's nearly got as high as this tree. I don't think he's going to get down.
Emin was climbing as high as he could in a tree, and he went higher and higher and higher, and the other children were all watching and were really impressed with him. And when he came back to school, they were actually telling the rest of the class what he'd been doing, and he felt so proud of that. As a teacher, my natural instinct would be to stop a child doing something like that, but gradually over the weeks, I've learned to step back and watch and assess what they can do, and for a child like him, it's a very positive thing. Emin's looking down at the branches to place his feet on them to get down, so that he can see where to put his feet next. With children who've got behaviour problems, it's often much easier to address those outside and encourage them in a really positive way to join in and work cooperatively with other children. Brilliant, Emin, that's amazing. So tell Tom what to do then. Can you give him some instructions?
You put your feet there and then reach up to there.
We've found with children that we're teaching that less and less they're having opportunities to go outside by themselves, to have a bit of danger and a bit of risk. We have a really strong perception that strangers are dangerous, so parents are understandably anxious and don't let their children go out. Traffic is much worse in built-up areas, And I think there are more things for children to do in homes now. You know, computers, which can be a real blessing, are also tempting children indoors. Instead of going outside to kick a football, they'll sit indoors and play an exciting game on the computer. So it's actually learning that outside is exciting.
The children visit the woods, whatever the weather.
What we need to do, okay, so get in that hand, hold the stick there. And the most important thing, always do it going away from yourself, don't you? Okay, always work that way.
Forest School helps build confidence by giving young children the opportunity to master skills they're generally not trusted with.
Twist it round, can't you? Finish off that bit. There you go.
Some children will be able to concentrate with a penknife in the woods, working really, really hard, whittling, showing a level of concentration that they may not back in school. We use bow saws sometimes as well, and we'll also occasionally light fires with the children and cook food over the fire.
There was a bit over there where we had a fire once. We cooked marshmallows and popcorn.
Getting out to the woods regularly throughout the year is a fundamental aspect of Forest School.
They get to get out, get muddy, dirty, climb trees. Even when it's pouring with rain, like everybody used to as kids, like we all used to. But they're allowed to go out and not be mollycoddled. You'll usually find people work outside in the rain and all weathers. Don't get half so many colds, bugs. It's just more fun.
I think lots of children, perhaps at the beginning, were told not to get too muddy maybe, and so we're a bit fearful about it, but everybody seems to have got over that now.
Yeah. But this is the uniqueness of Forest School, being out in this phenomenally wet weather, but also the teacher themselves allowing the children to enjoy this, to experience it. Most teachers back in school would say, oh, this is far too wet, far too muddy, we're not even going to attempt to go out.
A lot of schools have that kind of, you know, it's wet play, so you stay inside. And we found that children experiencing the rain at Forest School has given practitioners courage to say, it's okay to go out in the rain at playtime, just put a waterproof coat on. So I think Forest School is having a really great effect in the schools that are using it. We're learning that we can go out and use the environment, whatever the weather.
Finn's been doing it for over a year now, and it's just fantastic as a boy to get out, to be learning in a fun environment where it's all hands-on, very tactile. You've been making potions and soup today, haven't you?
I am pleased she goes to the woods because she likes to play and she likes discovering things. It is very different because they explore things on that small river in the mud and do all those things. What else do you do, by the way? Digging worms, or some of them.
You hate worms, Mummy.
I think some children that are perhaps a little bit shy indoors, they really communicate well out there. It's a sort of physical freedom and they just, you know, really enjoy mucking about, getting filthy.
I think a lot more early years teachers should be out there doing what we're doing. I think the best way to inspire other teachers is to get them to come along to sessions and see what actually happens out in the woodland.